we have a special episode tonight because we are actually live on Instagram right now.
That's crazy.
Who would have thought?
Absolutely wild.
But hello,
I'd never think.
I'm Sydney Mountain. Welcome to Dawgs in the House. I'm here with Jose and Jack.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know what that means.
Let's go. Get hype. Woo!
Okay, we're gonna turn his mic down.
Alrighty. How you guys doing?
Roof.
How you doing, Jose? Talk to the people.
Yeah, Jose, how are you doing?
I'm hanging out.
You're hanging out?
How are
Yeah.
you, Jack?
I'm
How are you? How are you, Sydney?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
How are you, Jack? How are you, Sydney?
Okay, that's fine. Oh, Instagram Live. That's crazy. I thought you were taking a random selfie, and I was
No.
like, all right, guess we're doing that.
I would never.
Crazy week in sports. Crazy week in life.
Pretty insane week. Not in football. Football was kind of boring this week.
Yeah,
Football was pretty boring
really
this week.
boring this week.
Very disappointing in certain teams.
A lot of
And
teams.
It's one of those weeks where
Fantasy-
you're glad you have options when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I know we're not going to get into fantasy right now, but in
Mhm.
my other fantasy league, I've only lost twice. Yesterday was my second loss,
Mm-hmm.
and it was horrible. It was terrible. Malik Neighbors didn't do anything for me. This is the first time I can say that Justin Jefferson did not help me.
I think it was
at
a rough
all.
week for everybody if you didn't have Jamar Chase.
Yeah, dude, Jamar Chase. Here's the thing.
I
I
had
went
a
up
great
against
week
somebody.
for fantasy.
The person I went against, Jamar Chase. The second I saw him get to 30, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be rough. And then
rough.
and then he got to 40. I'm like, oh,
And then 45.
45, and he got to 50,
50.
and then he reached 60, and I was like, wow.
55.4 in our league.
In my league, I think there's a little bit of
Yeah.
a point adjustment, but crazy,
55.4.
crazy. That has to be arguably the best game of the week. That's really the only game to me that I
Is
can
that the
really-
best fantasy game of the season so far? Probably,
Maybe.
right?
I had
Honestly,
188 total points.
really.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
188.
I think I've been over like 200 once in my
Really?
regular league, in a league of 10, not even a league of 4. So that's wild. Pretty wild week. But yeah, man.
So yeah, Jamar Chase. Speaking of Jamar Chase, we have a big dog.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite segment.
Everybody's
Everybody's
favorite
favorite
segment of the
Everybody's
week.
Favorite segment.
It's a big dog of the week. Can I get a rough?
Rough.
No shocker here. It's Jamar Chase.
First repeat. First
Wow.
repeat we've
First
ever had.
repeat
Let's
big
go.
dog.
Let's go.
He had, can somebody pull up the fantasy right now?
No.
Oh, well, I would, but my phone is currently being
Oh,
used
right,
for
right,
our
right, right.
special
Let's
live
see.
stream
Right? Let's
on
see.
Instagram.
No, I don't want to.
It was
Actually, you're pretty good
200
off the
was-
top.
280 yards, 4 touchdowns,
264 yards,
264
3 touchdowns, 11
yards,
receptions.
3 touchdowns.
11 receptions.
Yeah.
Wild.
55.4 points.
Absolutely wild. Honestly, it's one of those games where like
Hi, Kate.
regardless of your playoff picture, like that was just a great game. If you
Yeah.
had anybody in the Ravens or the Bengals, I think even I don't know off the top of my head, and the tight ends this year have not been great, but even I think like, Gesicki did pretty good. I think
Yeah.
Andrews of the Ravens, he had I think probably his best game fantasy wise.
Yeah, fantasy wise, I did great this week. Like I said, 188 points. But
Yeah, that's crazy.
that goes into our honorable mention big dog this week.
Yeah.
We couldn't go very far out the jungle. It's Joe Burrow.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just say this. I felt bad for that loss.
It's always such a good game when the Bengals and the Ravens play. You already know it's going to be an offensive masterpiece.
Well, you know what? Joe's entering his prime in the season. He's
Mhm.
always like really good in the middle of the season when other teams kind of tank a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and it's just a shame because I think he's really starting to see how bad that ends up for him and his team. Because for him to make playoffs, first of all, I actually don't know if Bengals can make the playoffs. I think they have a very limited chance at this point, but he balls out. Like he plays such good football,
He
but
really does.
he's going up against Lamar. Like
I mean, man almost put up 500 total yards of offense.
I know.
With 4 total touchdowns.
didn't
Damn.
Jamar almost had over 300.
Damn.
And
Almost.
you
Like
want to know
that's
what's crazy?
insane.
It's the fact that game was a 1-point game, right?
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow put up 450.
Yeah.
Lamar only put up like 200.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I'm sorry, but
you were to ask me
if
the
people tell
team-
me that Lamar
Jamar.
Lamar Jackson is an MVP candidate right now, I'm telling you no, because Derrick Henry's on his team and he takes
Yeah.
half of the weight off of him.
Honestly, I've been having this debate. I think as of right now, the two favorites for MVP. First of all, Jared Goff, get him out of here. I think that's over after this week. But I look at Buffalo, and I look at Josh, and I look at the Ravens, and I look at Lamar. I have to go with Josh. I know he's had, a couple more interceptions, not nearly as bad as last season.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at the situations they're in, Josh was on a team at the beginning of the season and in the preseason where everybody said, yeah, they're not making playoffs. And they weren't even favored to win the division, let alone be second. I think they were favored to be third behind the Finns and the Jets.
Yep.
And
Because they're in a rebuild year.
Yeah, and they're 8-2 right now. You have Lamar, who has Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, and they also just got Quentin Johnson, I believe, who he did not look very good the other day.
Guys,
but
we have 2 viewers on Instagram.
that's
Let's
insane.
go.
And
2 is better than
FTC
1.
women's basketball said Sydney Mountain is a big dog.
That's
Big
sick.
dog, rough.
That's sick. Way to be said. Way to be
Let's
said.
go. We have 3 viewers now.
Oh my god.
Let's
Nice.
go. Hello, all of our
Nice.
viewers.
So anyways, yeah, Josh Allen favorite to win MVP. Let's
I
go
think
on the NBA side of Big Dog.
NBA
let's
big
hear it. Let's hear
dog.
it. Let's hear it.
For the main Big Dog, it's going to be Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Nikola
First-
Jokic.
First 10 games of
Can't
the
even
season.
say his name.
Nuggets struggled a little
Yeah, I
bit
can
to
say
begin the
Nuggets.
season.
I can say
The
Nuggets.
Yep.
Go Nuggets.
Struggled to begin the season, but it's only 10 games in, but he has a 99.7% chance to win MVP
Really?
after 10 games.
Wow.
Yeah, so pretty impressive.
Just Jose's also definitely a big dog. FTC women's basketball.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Definitely not Jack.
Thanks,
Jack's a
guys.
Jack, you weren't
chihuahua.
at our game yesterday.
You weren't. Chihuahua.
Sorry, guys.
Anyways, for the honorable mention, would you
Yeah.
like to say his name, Jack?
No, I'm gonna let you say his name.
You don't know how
I
to
don't know-
pronounce
I
his
don't-
name,
I
do you?
can't.
Just say SGA, man.
Shea Gilgis Alexander.
Shit. Hold on. One more. Give me that one more time. Let me see.
Shea Gilgis Alexander.
Shea Gildas Alexander.
Gilgis
Gilgis. Shea Gilgis.
Alexander.
It's just SGA.
Shane
Just
Gillis
say SGA.
Alexander. Shane Gillis
No,
Alexander.
Shay.
Shea
Yes.
Gillis.
Yes.
Gilgis.
Gilgis.
Yes.
Shea Gilgis Alexander.
There we go. Wasted 5 minutes doing that. But yeah, dropped 45
Let's give
last
him a
night.
rough.
New
Love
career
it.
high. He's also in the race for MVP, but I think
Yeah.
Jokic might take it.
Okay.
If not either of those two, probably Luka.
Yeah.
It's time for Luka. Like
Yeah.
he set me up for that one because he knows I love Luka, but it's time for Luka to win an MVP.
Yeah.
That man is so good.
How old is he?
Luka 28.
Yeah, he came into the league real young.
Yeah.
He
Interesting.
was dominating European basketball at like 15, 16.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Start him young.
Well,
Start
most
him young.
EuroLeague MVPs are really young.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
EuroLeague MVP. But yeah, he's struggling right now. Dallas is struggling for a little bit, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. He might win it, might not. Who knows?
It is what it is. It's a great
Guys,
quote.
Kate said she's
Fantastic.
unfollowing us if Josh Allen's not on the show next week.
I can
Honestly.
make
It's
it
their
happen.
bye week.
Josh
It's their
Allen-
bye week.
Josh
I
Allen-
can make it happen.
Josh Allen and Pitbull.
And
Can you imagine? Go Bills. Dollar.
Dollar.
Imagine.
Dale.
Whatever show you're going through, Josh, I've been there, done that.
All right, are we moving on to everybody's second favorite segment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's time for the dog pound.
Who's our official dog pound? Actually, Let's time for Jack to find that out himself.
Jack, you don't know who's in the dog pound? You're the one that said it.
I'm pretty
did,
sure I have
like,
a
5
good
minutes
idea.
before.
Can we get a dog pound rough?
You gotta make it sad. You gotta make it.
It's Daniel Jones. Shocker.
Oh yeah, Daniel Jones sucks at
The
football.
Giants suck.
Hold on, let me just speak in this mic real quick. Daniel Jones sucks at football. Thank you.
Daniel Jones does suck at football.
Very
the
bad.
Giants are just a bad franchise.
Yeah,
New Jersey
man.
football is not the way to go.
No, I honestly I think we're kind of over talking about Saquon at this point. I'm moving on to you got Malik Neighbors, who has so much star potential, and in the beginning of the season had so much restraint for how this team was delivering, and how many targets he got and what he did to make it work. I pray Malik Neighbors gets a good quarterback. As of right now, I believe they're now first in the draft.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
about to say, yeah.
They're the only team in the NFC who's not in the hunt for the playoff picture.
Yeah, they
Damn.
need to keep losing football games, and they need to get a good quarterback for rookie dirt cheap. you're going to end up regretting the situation you have with Daniel Jones. Don't put him on the field. I can't help but think he's on the field because of that contract. He's not good. He sucks. He's terrible. It's awful.
Daniel Jones is terrible.
Really bad. Terrible decision making. He forces the ball so much, and then when he doesn't force the ball, the run game doesn't work. It's terrible. It's awful football.
Mm-hmm.
Feel bad for Giants fans, actually. I
don't.
I kind of do a little bit, because you know what?
I don't, because they're probably happy they're losing right now.
I don't feel bad for anybody.
When you're a fan of one of those really bad teams, it just the delusion kind of shifts over once you lose too much, and it's let's go, top draft pick, let's go.
That's true. Oh, speaking of delusion, real quick, Jets I think are now officially out of contention now.
Of playoffs?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know.
I forget their record off the top of my head. I think they're 3
What's this, week 10, 11?
Yeah.
So then they haven't had a bye yet, so they're like 3-7.
Yeah, they're. Ooh,
Am I right?
They're 3-7.
You are right. Yeah, 3-7.
3-7.
And I forget the exact
dome.
number, but I think the Jets end of this season, they have 48 million something dollars in
Their
dead cap space
best idea-
because of
their-
Rodgers.
Their best decision, and for those of you that can't see me, put that in air quotes, was firing Robert Saleh.
Oh my God. That was the worst one. I honestly think Saleh could have figured out an offensive scheme, even though he's more of a defensive guy.
That's the
Without
reason that they
Rodgers.
were ever in football games, was because of their defense. Their defense doesn't
know.
look
they look
anywhere near
terrible.
what it was supposed to be.
They look so bad. You want to know something funny? Sauce Gardner, that guy who's apparently so good at football. You know how many career interceptions he has?
2.
Do you know how many career interceptions DeMar Hamlin now has
2.
in this season alone?
He's got 2.
Is that not crazy to you? But we don't talk about DeMar Hamlin like he's this crazy
You
guy.
want to know something also?
Yeah.
Austin Johnson
Yeah.
also has 2 now.
Yeah,
in
is that
3
not
weeks.
crazy? Is that
in
not
3
nuts?
weeks.
That's ridiculous.
For those of you that don't know Austin Johnson, he is one of our defensive linemen for the Buffalo Bills.
Which, honestly, I'm waiting for him to get another one so he can finally run in for a pick 6, because that man deserves a touchdown.
Can I just pause for a second and read a comment that Kate
Let's
put
hear it.
on?
Let's go.
I really hope that with Omenahu's torn ACL, that the Chiefs' defensive front can hold the edge against a McCaffrey-led rushing attack. I'm also interested in seeing what Spags can come up with to slow it down.
What?
Honestly,
What are we talking about?
That sounded like it came straight out of ChatGPT.
I probably did come straight out of ChatGPT.
That's crazy.
Kate, we appreciate the comments, though.
Crazy
Thank you
things.
so
Great
much.
football insight. If it wasn't ChatGPT, honestly, very impressive.
Because the Chiefs are definitely playing the Bills this week, so good try.
I mean, you got lucky saying McCaffrey, because he did just get back into the
LMAO,
league.
it came from Reddit.
That's great. Well,
she said, sorry, I'll stop now.
So,
for Dog Pound.
Apparently, all of New York is in the Dog Pound.
All of New York?
Nope. The real and only New York team isn't.
The real and only New York team isn't.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but
Buffalo.
let's hear our basketball.
For NBA,
Dog Pound.
It's going to be Thomas Thibodeau, the head coach of the New York Knicks.
May I say, Jose is very mad at Tom Thibodeau.
Really?
Because apparently he doesn't know how to use this pick and roll.
Oh.
He doesn't know how to use the pick and roll. And in basketball, usually they run the starting 5 and there's a backup 5, right?
Yeah.
So you run 1, 2. Sometimes you limit it a little bit to 4 or 3 just to space the players out, get them a breather.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Thibodeau runs 7 people. So your starters go 5. There are a max of 2 people coming off the bench at once.
Yeah.
And in the fourth quarter, the team looks absolutely exhausted. They don't know what to do. They can't function. They're losing every defensive possession because they can't keep up with the guys that have been resting for 10, 15 minutes.
Who did they just play?
The Indiana Pacers, a team they previously before this blew up by 30.
Yeah.
And now they lose because they can't manage to run a rotation properly. They don't know how to run pick and rolls.
Yeah.
Cat looks exhausted in the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson can't do anything.
Yeah.
He finally looked like he got it together in this game. But again, he looked tired in the fourth.
I'm going to be honest, though. I mean, I think it just comes down to the team that he has to work with. I think he's the one guy.
It's one of those things where it's like, fine, you have 2 rotation players out and missing, but you still have a ton of young guys that can put up with it. Indiana Pacers, the team that they just lost to, is in a way worse position than the Knicks. They're out 5 key rotation players. And they still managed to pull off a 10-man rotation and win the game.
Oh, boy. That's rough.
That doesn't even make any sense.
That's
You're
rough.
only allowed 13 players on the team.
Let me ask you. Is it too early to call, but
it's
for
way
the
too
Knicks,
early. It's still way
It's
too
an
early.
82-game season. It is way
the
too
Knicks,
early.
They started like this last season, and then they went on an insane run halfway through the season. So
in
it is.
January.
Do you have hope? Do you have hope as a fan?
This is if it happens again and they turn it around, it would be the third time in a row they do it. So
How do you think that would get pulled off at this point?
just
They got to outlast teams. Do you think it's injuries?
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen right now. The Knicks are gonna be on this wishy-washy win lose until somebody makes a report that Tom Thibodeau is on the hot seat, and if they lose one more game against a key rival like Boston, Oklahoma, something like that, then he's out. He's fired.
Yeah.
Does it every season. They come
gonna
out,
win out.
They pull a win against that rival team, and they go on a crazy win streak, and they carry that into the playoffs. I can tell you last year when it happened against the Boston Celtics, and the year before that when it happened against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Let's go Cleveland.
I've been seeing a lot about Cleveland. Is Cleveland still the
They're
best
12-0.
team?
Cleveland is the best team in the NBA right now.
Oh boy. Oh
Cleveland,
boy.
quite frankly, looks unbeatable.
Yeah.
You know, last time that there was a team that went 12-0 to start the season,
Wasn't it the 2016 Cavs?
2016 Golden State Warriors.
Oh.
They won 27 in a row before losing
Wow.
to the Bucks.
Wow.
But yeah, moving on.
Moving on.
That's crazy.
Moving on back to the NFL side.
All right. So something we want to talk about, the NFL this past week.
It was
It
boring.
was, it was pretty boring. Nothing really crazy. Obviously, you know.
But wait, we're prepared.
Yeah, we're
What?
prepared. We got
We're
a
ready.
segment today that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
We're
He's
more or less
planes all the time.
more or less I do more or less slightly over the halfway mark in the NFL. Playoff picture is, you know, if the season were to end today, that's not what I'm saying, but looking at the current playoff picture, I think we have a pretty good idea of who's probably going to make it, who might not make it. We're going to go around and I'll give you guys the AFC, NFC division, each seed each team is at. You tell me first if that team remains in that seed and if you think they make a far enough push within the playoffs or not. So here we go.
We're ready. Aaron McLaughlin has now joined us on
Can we
Instagram
do
Live.
a thing where it's highest expectation, lowest?
Oh yeah.
Worst expectation?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm going to start with NFC teams because NFC to me, as much as I think some of these teams are exciting, I always feel like they lose to an AFC team in the Super Bowl.
So true, bestie.
Just a hunch. But all right, we'll start. The number 7 seed currently, as it stands in the NFC, is the Green Bay Packers with a current record of 6-3. The playoff probability for them is 70%.
The Packers are good.
Packers are a good football
They're just
team.
in a really tough
Yeah.
division.
Yeah. So what I think about with the Packers, right?
Next Gen Sports is here, guys.
Rivals.
When I think of the Packers, I think of a team that's in a tough division, but I think that their only competition, true competition, that
Is the Lions.
is the Lions. Watching Minnesota the other day, and we'll get to Minnesota a little bit later on. I think they're going to take over Minnesota, and I think Minnesota's going to drop further.
Do you think the beginning of the season for Minnesota was just luck?
A little bit. You know what? I think
everything was just clicking right away for them,
I
and then
think-
every other team caught up.
I think they started hot,
Mm-hmm.
and people are tired, and people are figuring out the scheme, and it's kind of like getting back into a regular Minnesota season where it's okay. They have the best wide receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson,
Mm-hmm.
but once you figure out that you can defend him,
Yeah.
what
What else do they have?
What else do they have? And their run game, although I don't think it's terrible, is not enough to win a game for them. So to me, Green Bay, I'm gonna say they're gonna take the second place in their own
Okay.
division.
That's fair to say.
I think their playoff probability. I think of the Packers kind of like the Steelers in the NFC. I feel like they're a very safe option to say make playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's my own opinion. What do you guys think, though?
If you were to say anybody were to take their spot, who would it be?
If anybody were to take the
You
Packers
gotta
spot,
find somebody who's not 2-7 right now.
as of right
2-8.
now, the only other team that I would say has a chance, and they're on the cusp of making, the playoff picture, is the 49ers. They just got Christian McCaffrey back.
Wait, the 49ers aren't in playoff picture right now?
No, they're currently the 8 seed, so they're right
Oh.
outside of it. They are in no way, to me, a bad team. They're not a great team. Even if they go far in playoffs, they're not going to win the Super Bowl. This team, without Christian McCaffrey, no more Brandon Ayuk, You have Debo, but he's kind of in and out with injuries. I think they're doing that on purpose to get him, to playoffs.
Yeah.
This team, though, still looks pretty good. They have Ricky Purcell, who's that new, rookie wide receiver who got shot.
Yes.
Looks like a stud. They have arguably, in my opinion, the best tight end in the league, George Kittle.
Yeah.
I'm going to argue second.
Well, if he's second to Kelsey.
Yeah.
But
that's what I was talking about.
What I will say is this. What Kittle has over Kelsey is that Kittle's been productive all season. Kelsey needed some time to warm up. That's my only fight with that. But I would say the 49ers not only could get in the playoffs and take the 7th seed, I think they will probably get as far as the 5 seed. I think they could.
Okay.
It's a fight, but I don't know their schedule off the top of my head. You have Christian McCaffrey back. He gets better week by week. It's a scary run game with Christian McCaffrey. So we'll see how far they get. At the number 6 seed, we actually currently have the Washington Commanders.
I honestly think that they're a lock for 1 or 2 for that division.
I think so too. I look at their division. The only competition I think is the Eagles.
Yep.
I will say this. Eagles, as of right now, are in the playoff picture as well. They're a lot higher up. I think Washington, in comparison to the other teams higher up, they play a lot better. For them to be in the 6th seed, I expect them to make it to the 3 seed. At least.
What is their record right now?
As of right now, they're 7-3. Which
and
is
what
not,
are the Eagles?
The Eagles are 7-2.
Okay.
Eagles had a bye week already.
Yep.
Commanders have not yet. It should be coming up. But the thing is this, they will be going on to play Pittsburgh. Not play Pittsburgh. They just played Pittsburgh. That's a hard team to beat. And this is a team that, as good as Jaden Daniels is, their defense is rough.
Yeah.
It is rough. So
rough.
I expect them to get higher. Their current playoff probability, though, is at 80%, which I think is fair to say. I definitely see them.
Yeah, that's fair.
You said they're playing the Steelers, or they already played the Steelers?
They just
did
played
last
the
week.
Steelers.
Yeah.
They play the Eagles next.
Yeah, so that's a
Maddie.
big game, because the thing is this: if they play the Eagles and they beat them, they secure for now the first place position within their own division, in a division where you have the Giants and the Cowboys, who are both kind of done for. Their seasons are over.
Yeah.
I'm just calling it now.
Yeah, the Cowboys are.
Cowboys are done.
Dude, oof.
Cowboys are done.
The Cowboys are
stinky.
like a dumpster
The
fire.
biggest thing going on for them right now
Is the sun.
CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jones' controversy of getting something to block the sun,
which is fair.
and
They spend so much money on that. Did they really not think that was going to be a problem?
This is a great example of the biggest thing holding the Cowboys back every year is Jerry Jones, and he's never going to let them go. I think it is a lot easier for these players to not re-sign and go somewhere else. However, player in question right now who's arguing with him signed a newer deal with them, and he's there for at least 4 more years. So we'll see what happens. But above the Commanders at the 5 seed, we have the Vikings. They're 7-2. They just played Jacksonville. They barely
Wasn't
pulled
that like
that off.
12-7?
That was a horrible football game.
That was terrible, yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence wasn't even playing for the Jags. That was Mac Jones, the former
It was
starter.
a Mac Jones-led Jags.
All Mac Jones. No Trevor Lawrence. He was hurt. That was all Mac Jones. And he didn't even target Brian Thomas Jr. That wasn't even like the big, takeaway of the game.
Damn.
I expect the Vikings to clinch playoffs in the 7 seed if they stay focused. As of right now, they pulled off a very lucky win against Jacksonville. I think they will make playoffs, just looking at some of these other teams, but they're in a lot of trouble. Their playoff probability is at 92%.
What are the odds that that Vikings game was just kind of a fluke? They just one of those games you couldn't get in rhythm.
Here's the thing. I think it
could be a trap game.
Here's the thing. I think it's a little bit of a fluke because I think Sam Darnold he was not locked in. He made a lot of bad decisions. He was forcing the ball to Jefferson that entire game. He had a lot of red zone interceptions because he was forcing the ball to Jefferson. I think he needs to understand his team and the dynamic. When he play the Vikings, you understand that Justin Jefferson is lock target number 1. Then you worry about the run game because that's really the next best thing they have going for them. He's got to find some more chemistry with his wide receivers other than Jefferson. And I think the main thing that I saw in this game is Justin Jefferson looks pissed. He looks very angry at the way they played. So they'll be lucky if they stay in playoff contention. I think they'd be very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But above them, they have a team that, again, I'm very 50-50 on.
Is it the Bucks?
No, it's the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
They just
They're
played
winning
the
the
Jets.
NFC West right now.
Yeah.
Yes, they're
But
the
they only
first
have
in
a
the AFC
59%
West.
chance to make the
Yeah,
playoffs.
only a 59% chance to win.
Probably
They
because
just,
McCaffrey's coming back.
Yeah, that's the thing. But they just embarrassed
The Jets.
the Jets. It wasn't even like
Close.
it wasn't even
like-
close.
I think Jose and I turned that game on for like a minute at
a minute
most.
max,
Yeah.
and then we just look at it, boom, and
We
were
boom,
like,
14-0.
what?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing I'm gonna say is this team will go far because of Murray.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to make good decisions. The one play I saw from this game that I keep seeing on repeat is he got laid out in this game. He got hit so hard his helmet flew off. The guy stood right back up and kept balling out, and he
Mhm.
played a great game. Kyler Murray can run. I'm gonna put him probably fourth in the totem pole next to like an Allen, Lamar, or Herbert, where he's dangerous, where he could throw, but he could also run and he's shifty. He's really good. He's very good. I think it's safe to say that they're going to stay in playoffs. 4 seed's a little high. I
Yeah.
could see them dropping.
I don't think they end up winning the West.
No, especially a returning McCaffrey. That's
Yeah.
really tough. That's a very tough.
I mean,
Niners
that's
team to
an
beat.
offensive player of the year coming back on a squad
Yeah.
that is desperately needing wins right now.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with them. Above them in the 3 seed, we have the Atlanta Falcons.
They're winning the South.
They're winning the South. Think about this. The Buccaneers just played Kansas City.
I forgot they don't have Mike Evans and Chris
No
Godwin
Mike
too.
Evans. Mike Evans is, I believe, expected to be able to make it back towards the end of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I
Might be
think it
too
might
late.
be too late for them. Baker Mayfield balls out. He's playing a great season of football, and I feel like it's such a bad reflection of him. But for the
Kirk
Falcons,
Cousins, man,
dude, Kirk Cousins is really good at robbing
that
people.
man is
He's
all
really good.
reliable.
He robbed Atlanta because this man is not talented, but he has a ridiculous array of weapons in Atlanta right now that are making him look good. Their current record is 6-4. They're a 3 seed team that is 6-4. That's crazy.
Bijan went off this week. That I do
Oh, yeah.
remember because
He
he's
did.
on my fantasy team
Well,
too.
here's the thing. Some of those guys pop off week to week. So if it's
Bijan
not
doesn't.
Bijan,
Let me tell you.
if it's not Bijan, it's
Drake
gonna be, it's
London,
gonna be Drake
Kyle
London
Pitts.
or it's Kyle Pitts. It's those 3, and they rotate a lot.
Yeah, well, they need to stop rotating
And
and,
then
just
all-
Bijan.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
really need to
he
get him
stops
going.
when she plays me.
Yeah, dude.
Stop talking.
Oh man, the fantasy is crazy. But I see them
So
dropping.
I got
There's
Nando.
no
Oh, wait.
way.
You
There's
have-
no way they keep 3 seed. There's absolutely no way. I think that's insane. I don't see it happening. They just played the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Didn't
know.
they just lose to the Saints?
All
Yeah,
right, but what's their ceiling?
yeah. Their ceiling, I'm gonna be honest.
They don't get any more above 3.
They're at their ceiling right now.
Yeah.
I think it's if they make playoffs, it's 6 or 7 seed.
Yeah.
I think they will. But it's 6 or 7 seed.
Do you
It's
think the
very
Bucks
low.
are coming back to take the South?
Their current record, it's 4-6,
It's either them, the Saints, or the Panthers.
and they just played. Here's the thing: they just played the Niners with a returning Christian McCaffrey, and that was another like close game. Baker's almost like the Burrow in the NFC right now. He's playing so many teams and he can't beat them. I think they'll make it. They got to ball out a little bit. They got to get on a bit of a win streak here and get it up. And I think the Falcons are probably going to go down. But at the number 2 seed, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 7-2.
They could honestly like interchange with the Commanders right now.
Them or the Commanders are like neck and neck. It really comes
Honestly,
down to this next game.
I'm gonna predict it now. I think the Commanders take the NFC East this year.
Here's the thing.
They're playing such good football.
They're playing such good football, but this is the thing. Jalen Hurts is not that bad of a quarterback.
They're just inconsistent. That's why.
He's ridiculously inconsistent, but he has a run game that he can hide behind now. That makes him more dangerous.
Mhm.
Jaden Daniels, as of right now, Brian Robinson Jr., who is, the younger, running back of that team besides Austin Eckler, he's been out. He has helped that team a lot because I really do think he's giving Daniels time to breathe between plays. I think the Commanders offensively completely outbeat the Eagles, even with Saquon. Defensively, though, their defense does not help them at all. Every time they've won, it's an offensive win. So I give the Eagles a little bit of an edge, but I also give them a bit of an edge because this is Daniel's first year in the NFL. So they kind of know the game that they're playing.
I just wanted to be different.
Between the Eagles and the Commanders, do you think either of them have a chance to overthrow Detroit?
No.
No.
Detroit just looks way too good.
Yeah. Detroit on both sides of the ball are dangerous.
And especially
good defense, good offense.
Especially if they get deep into the playoffs and they can get Aiden Hutchinson back.
When they're gonna get him back.
They got to get deep into the playoffs first.
They got to get there.
I understand, like, we talk about them, like, oh yeah, they're like a shoo-in for NFC Championship. But football is a week-to-week game. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know who could go down. Yeah. So you've got to say if they can go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions, I think they hold on to this 1 seed for a long time.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. The Lions are the one team in the NFL right now where I really don't think the injury bug has hit them whatsoever at all. And I have a fear that it might be coming soon. So we'll see what happens with them. But very quickly, let's get into the AFC. AFC is a little bit easier, in my opinion. Right now, the 7th seed in the AFC is the Broncos. I don't think they're making it.
Really?
No. And
who's in the hunt behind them?
Right behind them is the Colts.
I don't think the Colts will make it just because they don't have trust in Anthony Richardson anymore, and I don't think Joe Flacco can do it for a whole season.
Underneath the Colts are the Bengals. Bengals are rising.
They are.
And the Bengals, now that they've gotten a couple of like really difficult teams, I think they're going to win out a little bit. They're going to be competing to clinch playoffs. Broncos, I can see dropping. I think Bo Nix is a great quarterback. He's playing good. This team's too young. Team's way too young. At the 6th seed, I have the Chargers. And controversial choice, I think they're staying in the playoffs.
I do too.
They're playing good football. Really good football.
I like the Chargers.
I like them too. Herbert's playing good. You know what the thing is? Herbert is having fun on the field. He likes this team that he has. And it has to be Harbaugh. It has to be that coaching staff.
I have no doubt. As much as I don't want to say that because, like, I'm an Ohio State girl, so I hate Michigan, so I hate
but he brings an energy to this
really
team,
does.
Though. He really does.
It's like... It's not Dan Campbell, but like it's like the off-brand version of Dan Campbell.
Yeah, it's like the Coles Cash version of it. You know what I mean? But Chargers, I'm gonna say this. Obviously, they're not winning their division with Kansas City. But I keep them in the playoffs.
Yep.
Absolutely. Now here's where it gets tricky. From the 5 seed to the 1 seed, the next 5 teams that I tell you are all teams that I think are really good football teams. And I would not be surprised if any of these next 5 teams go all the way and win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
At the 5 seed, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens are 7-3. They're second in the AFC North currently. They are behind the Steelers.
Yes.
They are great football team. Defensively, meh. Not as good as offense.
It doesn't matter when you can hide behind Derrick Henry.
You have a really good run game with Derrick Henry. Some teams, I think, underestimate him, and that's when he's had these crazy games he pops off. Other teams, I think they worry too much about him, and now you have Lamar balling out. So if any of these teams in this division end up playing Baltimore down the road, you need to be able to handle both, and that's very difficult for a defense to do. I can see them moving their way up to the 3 seed or 4 seed.
Yeah, the Steelers just would have to lose.
Steelers would have to lose a couple, but above them, the Houston Texans. Houston Texans, CJ Stroud's not as good as he used to be.
They're going to make playoffs, but that's just because they're in a bad division.
Yeah, they're in a bad division. They got lucky with a couple of their early season wins. You get Nico Collins back, offense gets a lot stronger. Joe Mixon, I think, is a huge advantage to them for having a run game to hide behind. I don't think they're that strong to go all the way, though. I think they're starting to sizzle out a little bit. I don't know the rest of their schedule. but I would not say that they're going to beat the Ravens, Steelers, Bills, or Chiefs.
No.
I would not say that they would beat those teams at this point. I know they have beaten the Bills, and
that was a lucky 59-yard field goal
really
and
close
some
game.
really dumb decision making.
And that's also the Bills before they got Amari Cooper, and wide receivers were a lot more established.
Yeah.
And right before Ray Davis got really established. Bills are in a very different spot now. I don't really feel like the Texans have evolved. Above them, though, 3 seed Steelers, they look really good.
Yeah.
Really good team.
I think they're going to make playoffs, but that's just because it's a Mike Tomlin-led team.
The Steelers
Steelers are going to Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers always make playoffs. They currently have a 94% chance. That's pretty much 100. They're the Steelers. They always make it somehow.
They always end up above 500.
The only area of concern for them is offensively, and offense looks good.
I was about to say George Pickens went off this week.
Yeah, dude, Russell Wilson looks really good. He looks really good on this team. He's firing on all cylinders. It's very obvious that this man still has fuel in the tank. He's playing really good football. And I think he's exactly what the Steelers needed. They don't need a modern quarterback like Fields. They need somebody who stays in the pocket, somebody who can scramble a little bit, not a lot, but somebody who could throw dimes to Pickens like we saw the other day and play good football. So the Steelers 3 seed, they could even take the 2 seed maybe. I don't even know. Maybe.
Stop it.
They
don't
could.
put that into the air.
It wouldn't be because they're a better team. It would be because of record. It would
Don't
solely
put that
be
into
because
the
of
air.
record.
Don't put that into the air.
I don't think it will happen, but
I'm taking that out of the air and putting it
all right,
in my
all right.
pocket.
Fair. But
Just like Russell Wilson.
that's wild. Well, anyway, getting into the 2 seed, we have the Buffalo Bills.
Let's go Bills. Woo, woo,
8-2,
woo. All right.
one of the best records they've had since I think 93.
1993, which by the way was the last time they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that season.
Crazy.
Granted, they didn't win that Super Bowl.
They're playing really
That's
good
not what we're talking
football.
about.
The Bills at this point are a really good team.
Yeah. It's so hard to deny it.
I'm really trying to separate myself as a fan right now.
I can't.
Their defense looks good. Buffalo's
And that's
defense looks good, guys.
Without Matt Milano.
I believe they're actually right now
They
the
just
number
opened
one.
up the window for him too.
Aren't they the number 1 team right now in takeaways, I believe?
They've had a takeaway every single game this
Yeah.
week. At least one.
They're playing really good football. Like you just said, Matt Milano is expected to come back.
They just opened the 21-day window.
And look, at this point, the Bills, there's no question they're obviously making playoffs. And I don't know off the top of my head the next, crazy teams they play besides this week and eventually Detroit and the Niners. But
I was about to say it goes Chiefs by 49ers. That I know.
yeah. And
Let me ask you a question. How serious is this week's game?
I actually let me
I don't think it's that serious. Because if I'm being honest, for the past few years, the Bills have beaten the Chiefs in the regular season.
yeah.
And then it doesn't matter because really the regular season doesn't matter.
Kansas City just barely beat
Eked by, yeah.
Denver.
But not even just that. Like I'm saying, like we have been trying to get the number 1 seed for years just so we could play Kansas City and Buffalo.
Yeah.
We finally get the chance to play Kansas City and Buffalo last year.
Yeah.
And they choked it.
Yeah.
Like
Tyler
it
Bass,
doesn't
man.
matter where they play.
Yeah.
It always matters that it's Kansas City, it's in January, and whoever wins that game is probably going to the Super Bowl.
And I'm going to be honest, at this point now, I think regardless of how the playoffs and, whoever's in what seed, ends up being what, I think it's always going to come down to Kansas City and Buffalo. I think it's something that's
until
destined
somebody
to be.
dethrones them.
But here's the thing. If there's one person who beats Kansas City this season, Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time in years in a regular season game that I've seen people say Buffalo is favored to win because nobody ever gives them the credit. Offensively, Josh Allen is playing the best football I've ever seen him play. It's not that it's the craziest, hurdle plays or he's throwing crazy dots.
He's not trying to be a superhero.
He is playing smart football. He's playing very smart football. He's connecting with his wide receivers. He's getting anybody engaged. We just saw Mac Hollins, who wasn't even a wide receiver last season. He's getting good gains for Josh because he has trust in his guys. The only thing this team, I would say, is a bit of a worry is defense. But in the long term, you're getting Milano back.
Yeah.
And when we finally see a postseason Bills team that's healthy because they are healthy.
And it's always comes down to the Bills being so depleted in their secondary
and this
in
is,
January.
And this is the thing. Bills, a lot of people said the Bills were not injured at all this season. The Bills had injury going into the season. You had Terrell Bernard, who wasn't, nobody knew what his health was going to be. Matt Milano, nobody knew what his health was going to be.
Taron Johnson.
Taron Johnson is on that list too defensively. Then you go to the offense. You have brand new wide receivers. No Diggs, no Davis. The only real weapon returning is James Cook, who, as much as I love him, is not a perfect player.
And now you've got injuries to Amari Cooper, Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel had an injury a few weeks ago.
Kincaid hurt his knee. He's expected to be fine. But here's the thing. He finds Dawson Knox open. He finds Matt Collins open. In the game against, Indianapolis, I didn't like it, but he's trying to make Curtis Samuel work now too. This team's very dangerous.
I love watching Khalil Shakir get checkdowns and then just run for 15 yards.
Oh,
that's like my
I
favorite
didn't
thing
even bring
ever.
up Shakir, but this is the thing. Shakir is a perfect wide receiver for Josh. Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman are just, sugar on top. But finishing out, we have Kansas City, who they will be playing this week. Kansas City is 9-0. This is a sham team. They're not that good. They can be defeated.
Tell them.
I don't think they're holding the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Really?
No, because you know what? This is the thing. They lose to the Bills. They're going to go on a losing streak. And teams are going to start figuring out exactly where to attack. The problem that teams have had is they don't know if they should attack Mahomes. Oh. Because it's a thing, then the defense really steps up. Or they're like, okay, we need strong offense. And then Mahomes plays against that. The one thing I will give the Chiefs is as an overall team, there is a sense of everybody has to step up. If Mahomes can't save this team in a game, which we've seen, there's been at least 4 games that they've played where Mahomes
has looked terrible.
Mahomes did not win that game for them.
And yet he's still an MVP consideration.
The defense stepped up. Even we saw yesterday, the offense did not look that good. The defense was not that good. It came down to a field goal.
A blocked field goal.
And they got lucky with special teams. So special teams stepped up in that game. Buffalo.
I'd say half of their wins have been lucky.
Yeah.
Like the first 3 wins of the season were luck.
Yeah. What I'm expecting in this matchup, I think they know that Buffalo is by far the hardest team they've played in a long time. I think they're going to go the route of trying to be a better offense against our defense. And I think they're going to be upset to see how our defense plays. I don't think they're going to figure out a way to beat Buffalo on offense because Buffalo's offense is so what is it? Who's the receiver this week? We really
don't know.
We don't know as Bills fans who's going to step up.
I literally couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Could not tell you.
We'll see what happens. But overall, just to close this out. I'm excited.
Are you
As
excited?
a fan, just coming into the season, this is exciting stuff.
This is arguably the biggest regular season game.
I'm getting highlights
all
and edits
season.
And stuff on my TikTok.
Dude,
I'm excited.
I see it all over my TikTok too. Bills fans want to beat Kansas City so bad, and I know Kansas City fans, don't look at Bills fans like a threat, but secretly they do.
They do.
We are the closest team to dethroning you guys. It's gonna be a great game.
Let's go.
Overall, though, Super Bowl, I'm calling it now. Bills Lions.
That is what everybody
It's
wants
what it
to
should
see.
have been last season. Should have been that last season.
That's what everybody wants to see.
I want
That'd
Bills.
be such a good game.
I want Bills. I want Lions. I think.
Tell them.
I don't know what other matchup there would be.
You know what? Give me a final score. What's it gonna be?
Bills Lions.
31-27.
I was thinking it was gonna be in the 30s too. I was gonna go.
Boom.
31-30. I think it's gonna be a close game.
31-27.
But this is what I
Bills.
hope happens. Josh has a great game. Goff has a great game. Tyler Bass wins it for them.
That'd be so cute.
That's what I want. Because you know what? It's
Is
not
it-
even. It's
is
not
it-
even.
Is
That's
it
a
worth
story.
the heartache that is him setting
Dude,
up the kick?
Buffalo. All Buffalo is every week
The
is
panic
heartache.
that sets in.
All
It is a
Buffalo
heart attack
is.
every week.
Every week is a heart attack. But you know
I
what?
swear I've lost 20 years of my life just being a Bills fan.
It's not even about what happened last season against Kansas City. It's about what happened historically for the Bills too, way back in the Jim Kelly era.
Wide right.
When we went wide right. Tyler Bass, I think, will be the guy to fix that, and I think Josh is the guy to set him up.
Do we think
that.
it's because the OJ curse is lifted?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah?
Absolutely. This is the best season they've had so far.
So true, bestie.
Plus, they have no Diggs. No Diggs. Who's out for the season? Probably won't be a
Diggs.
Texan next
His
year.
brother apparently has the lowest IQ in NFL history.
I saw that
You
too. I believe it.
So should we go to NBA now?
Let's go to NBA.
Let's go to
Enough
NBA.
topics.
Because now he's excited.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go. So, sour note: the Pelicans, they're injured. Everybody's
Really?
injured.
Shocker.
Everybody.
Yeah. Zion, obviously, kind of expected him, but
Yeah.
Jose Alvarado, my twin, is out for 6 weeks.
Your
Stop
twin.
calling him your twin.
Your
It's
twin.
just your first
Wait,
name.
hold on,
no,
hold
listen
on.
to this. Listen
No,
to
he
this,
doesn't
right?
look anything like me.
Ah.
Listen,
Alright.
Jose Alvarado. He said that just because his first name's Jose. Mind you, there is a player for the Philadelphia Phillies who literally has the name Jose Rojas.
Wow.
But he won't call him his twin because he plays in
It's
Philly.
a Philly team. Why would I? That's like
Yeah, it's true.
But it is
that
your
like
name.
That's
You
too
can't
bad.
support Philly.
Exactly.
You can't.
Never in a million years. He could have my same middle name. We could have the same birthday. We could share the same mom. I wouldn't like that, man. Anyways, yeah. CJ McCollum is out. Zion Williamson is out. DeJounte Murray is out, so God knows when. So
Yeah.
that is the entire starting five for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay.
That
Completely
looks
gone.
like 4 people.
1, 2, 3. That's 4 out, yeah. But they're
Someone
Still
can't do
one.
math.
That's still a
missing
good
one
amount
more,
of people.
right? Like that's the
Yeah.
entire player. So
Yeah.
sucks for the Pelicans. They had pretty high aspirations. I wouldn't say championship because Zion can never stay healthy, but
Yeah.
he's the only one that people expected not to stay healthy. Not the whole team.
Mhm.
They're the only reason why Philadelphia isn't the most injury-prone team in the league right now.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I don't think Zion has played one full season.
remember, I don't think he's played more than
Wow.
40 games.
I
I
called
think
it
actually that's a lie. Last
when he
season.
was in college, when everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, Zion Williamson is gonna be like this ultra mega superstar." I was
Yeah.
like, "This man's about to be a bust.
Yeah.
Like this man can't stay healthy.
I feel
He's
like
a
it's
bust.
always-
just look at the body type. That's not a
Yeah.
body type for basketball.
That is
Yeah.
like one too many Popeyes biscuits.
would be
These are
fantastic.
so
It's
dry.
like a Kelvin Benjamin, bro.
So dry. So dry.
That is what it is. Kelvin Benjamin was one Popeyes biscuit away from being a tight end. That's what it is.
Wow.
He would make a great football player.
It's crazy.
He probably needs to only play once a week too.
But yeah, I called it when he was at Duke. I said that man was going to be a bust, and
Yeah.
he still hasn't finished the season.
Man.
Yeah, last season was his healthiest season, and he couldn't even play into the playoffs.
You hate to see it, but I mean, sometimes it's
What it
just
is.
kind of the, you
The
know.
man is too strong for his own good.
That
Yeah.
might be the quote of the week. Kelvin Benjamin's one Popeyes biscuit away from being a tight end.
But
That's
yeah, other
insane.
than that, very quickly, the Nuggets are back 7-3. Had a rough start,
Let's go Nuggets.
but yeah, Nikola Jokic talked about it
That
earlier.
might be his favorite team just because they're the
Yeah, the
Nuggets.
No,
Nuggets.
I like the
The
Knicks.
chicken
Oh,
nuggets.
okay.
I got to.
Oh, you do?
Speaking
do.
of the Knicks, they suck.
They still suck.
Never mind. Maybe the Nuggets sound pretty good.
4-5, hoping to turn it around. Honestly, I talked a lot about it. Karl Anthony Towns is playing fantastic basketball. Honestly,
Yeah.
shooting 57% from three, the highest 3-point shooting in the league so far.
Yeah.
But when you can't get it to click, you can't get it to click. Mikal Bridges looks like a waste of 7 draft picks.
Yeah.
Anyways, other than that, the biggest news is the NBA in-season tournament starts tonight.
Yeah.
I want you guys to give me a prediction on who you think is going to win the whole thing.
The Knicks.
Last year was obviously the Lakers against the Pacers, and the Lakers won.
Mm-hmm.
Neither team did much in the playoffs. Sisney, what are your thoughts? Who wins it?
Do you have like the groups like we've been seeing on TikTok?
Yes, I do actually have the groups.
Oh, I love that. Love that. I actually would need the groups as well.
There's so like the way that it works
How
is
does it
there's
break? Yeah.
there's like groups, right? So there's 4 groups, right? A, B, C, D,
Mhm.
and each group is split into 5 or 6 teams. Jose,
1 second.
Is
it's
that
either 5 or
split-
6
Five,
teams.
five,
Is
five.
that
It's
based
5
off of
teams in
current
each
stat?
group. No,
Oh,
it's
it's
literally
just
just random.
It's random. So it's like as if
It's
this-
like a tournament.
this tournament starts, they're both 0-0. Do you know how the World Cup works?
Yes.
So it's
the
basically
World
like
Cup
that.
standings, yeah.
It's
Wow.
4 different groups. You have to
Yeah.
make it out of your group, and then you play tournament style to see who wins the in-season tournament.
Yeah. What's a reward if you win tournament?
There's
Each
like
player
money.
gets $100,000, but they're kind of like negotiating aspects of it for the future.
Does it have anything
The-
to do with their current like regular season
Nope.
record?
No.
No.
The biggest hope is that sooner to come in later seasons, if you win this, it's a guaranteed playoff spot.
Really?
That
That's
would
what
be.
I would love.
See, that's
That
what
would
I
be
think
so
would be smart.
cool.
Because then if you have like the 13th seed Hornets that go like 13 and like 58 or whatever, right?
Well, you
and they
think
have
of
a playoff spot
Think
because
of
they
it
had a
this way: you
crazy
take
in-season
you take a
tournament.
team like the Cavs or something who are currently dominating. They absolutely at the moment deserve
12
to
and
go.
0, baby.
If you gave them a tournament at the moment right now, I'm sure they would probably win all the way through. They deserve a playoff spot, and then you see how they do later in the season.
The
and,
differentiating
you know,
thing here is because the playoffs in the NBA is win 4 games.
Yeah.
That immediately eliminates the good from the bad. The good's always going to win that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For that
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
a shock and surprise, you're not going to get the Jimmy Butler Miami Heat.
You don't get
Yeah.
like a
that
March
many times
Madness
over.
type
Yeah, you don't get
tournament.
that excitement.
Where
So
are you?
that's-
March Madness. Oh, don't even get me
That's what
started.
they're trying to
Ah.
do here with this in-season tournament.
Yeah.
Because
and-
it's only 1 win.
Yeah, it's only 1 win tournament style.
See,
Boom, boom.
that's better though. One game.
Yeah,
Leave it
that's
all
why.
out there.
That's why
It
everybody
really
wants them to
is.
up the rewards for winning the whole thing.
A
Yeah.
playoff spot would be crazy.
exactly.
That would be cool.
So
I feel like you would get more people to watch that too.
yeah,
I
exactly.
would
Early-
totally watch
If
that.
you had like a week, like 1 or 2, where it's like, by the way, you guys are gonna fight for a playoff contention.
I feel
Yeah.
like the reason that I don't like to watch the NBA as much is just because like there is no incentive. It's 82 games.
Yeah.
It's a
Well, you
lot.
know what it is? It's also you think of sports that overlap. Like you look at baseball. I know a lot of people who did not watch early football because they're watching baseball close
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Same thing with basketball. Like I'm sure I'd be watching more basketball if we weren't at a point in football where you're trying to see where everybody's going to be in a couple of weeks.
Well, that's the thing, because like they saw that the NFL is trying to add Christmas games.
Yeah.
And the NBA is usually dominated that the whole time.
I
So
know.
who knows if they're trying to do this formula where the in-season tournament starts and it peaks at around Christmas time.
That would be kind of cool.
Okay, so the groups.
So the groups, West Group A, the Rockets, the Clippers, the Timberwolves, the Trailblazers, and the Kings.
Okay.
I'm picking the Timberwolves to come out
I
of
was
this.
about to say I think the Timberwolves come out of that group.
I think-
Timberwolves had a deep push last
yeah, made the
playoffs,
conference
right?
finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made the conference finals, lost to Luca.
Yeah, I don't like the Timberwolves team as much as I did last season, but Julius Randle's been balling out. Anthony Edwards, like
Anthony
I said,
Edwards
he's
is
going to be
Anthony
the face
Edwards.
of the league.
Him and
sooner
Dante
rather
have
than
this
later.
weird friendship that I kind of like.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I still love
Interesting.
Dante, but yeah, it is what it is. I think if there's a wild card to come out of them, it's going to be the Rockets. The Rockets have been playing out of their mind
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Between the Clippers, Trailblazers, and Kings, the Clippers have been scraping by wins because 31-year-old Norman Powell is the front runner for most improved player.
Yeah.
And the Kings suck. Shout out to Jared. West Group B, the Lakers, the Thunder, the
Oh.
Suns, the Spurs, and the Jazz. So it's only 4 teams. not
Probably
the Jazz.
Thunder.
It's the Thunder. Yeah, the
Probably
Thunder
the
come
Thunder.
out of.
I'm going to
yeah.
be sneaky here. I'm going with the Suns.
Yeah.
Nah.
8-1. Well, Kevin Durant is out.
I was
but
about to say
that's just
Kevin
gonna
Durant
give-
can't stay
That is
healthy.
going to give Devin Booker and Bradley Beal
How
more
old
minutes.
is Kevin Durant now?
38.
37. I think.
7?
Yeah, but the
Wow.
Thunder also just lost Chet, so they don't have a big man. They have
Okay.
Isaiah
I
Hartenstein.
don't care. SGA
Also
is
in-
just,
I
Injury
say
prone.
make them play regardless if they're injured and see who
What?
can fight through the injury.
Whoa. Okay. But
That's a
also,
crazy
another
statement.
Sneaky
That's
pick, another
crazy.
sneaky pick here would be the Lakers. Anthony Davis is number 2 in MVP right now.
Oh, really?
I think he's bringing out the Kareem goggles now.
Yeah, he is. So he's been hooping out his
So
mind.
he's
So
still got a. He's still got a.
Yes, he
yeah,
still
he
has the
does.
brow.
He is.
Let's get that thumbnail for YouTube right there.
Oh, the YouTube that
wants to see-
somebody hasn't updated.
Sure. So yeah, the Lakers could be
Hurry
a
up, we
sneaky
got
pick.
5 minutes and I still have to do the shameless
West Group
plug.
C. Oh, you're gonna love this one. The Mavericks, the Nuggets, the Warriors, the
Nuggets.
Grizzlies, and the Pelicans.
That's interesting.
That's a pretty stacked group.
I'm sorry,
That's-
I have to go with the Mavs.
I'm going with the Warriors.
I'm
Sir, a few weeks ago you said the Warriors were gonna drown
That's
in a
why I'm
dumpster
going with the
fire.
Warriors.
I'm gonna go on a hunch here. Ready? I'm gonna go with the Nuggets, but it's not because of their name.
It's because of chicken nuggets.
Well, no. They're playing good right now
How do you know that?
because
We
I can
talked
see the
about it.
record in the notes, and I'm going off of Jose. But
Once again, he also just said that the Warriors a few weeks ago were gonna drown in a dumpster fire.
it's true. But here's the thing: I think good teams on a hot streak continue that, and if they're in a tournament, that's a good morale boost for them too. They're probably really gonna want it.
Jack,
And
your
then
mom
they
made it to
fizzle
the
out.
Instagram Live.
Oh,
Let's
Jennifer!
go.
Hi, Mom. Love
Hi,
that.
Jack's mom.
Love that. Love that. So much fun.
Let's
Thanks,
go. So
Jen.
yeah, so East Group A,
Probably gonna ask for Russell Wilson stats anyway.
the
continue.
Nets, the
No,
Nets,
the Mavs are going out of
the
there.
Hornets, the Knicks, the Magic, and the 76ers. I know the Knicks are struggling. I'm still picking the Knicks,
Knicks.
because
Wait, what were they again?
I got Knicks fever.
Nets, Hornets, Knicks,
Wait. Nets, Hornets, Knicks.
Magic, Sixers.
Yeah, I have to
Orlando
go with
I'm
the
going, I'm
Knicks.
going with the Knicks. Magic lost
Well,
Paolo.
I
Yeah,
would have gone
if
with the
Paolo
Magic
still-
if Paolo
yeah.
was still playing,
Yeah.
because that man
Yeah.
is a dog.
Yeah.
But
Paolo's gonna be
I
out. The
I
Knicks
gotta
are-
go with
the
the
Knicks
Knicks.
First ever
honestly-
big dog in NBA history.
Yeah.
Here.
The Knicks are going to get pretty easy wins against the Hornets, the Magic.
That's what you think.
I hope so. I'm praying, please.
Yeah.
And the Sixers, they're actually getting Joel Embiid back tonight, and they're playing the Sixers.
Interesting.
And Jared McCain has been hooping out of his mind, but Paul George
Let's
is
go.
looking
Come
like
on.
Tobias Harris 2.0,
Ah.
and Tyrese Maxey's out.
Yeah.
So the Nets, I don't know what Cinderella run they're on, but I don't think they're going to win anything. East Group B, the Pistons,
Huh.
the Pacers, the Heat, the Bucks, and the Raptors. This is probably the
I'm
weakest
going with
group.
the Pacers.
This is the weakest group in the
Pacers.
NBA. I'm going to go with sneaky pick, the Pistons.
Interesting.
Shut up.
Yeah, their record sucks, but Tobias Harris, I need him to come
Cade
back.
Cunningham,
Cade
Jaden Ivey.
Cunningham,
Let's
Jaden
go.
Ivey, exactly. Tim Hardaway Jr., Knicks legend. All right.
Love it.
And the last group, East Group C, the Hawks, the Celtics, the Bulls, the Cavs, and the Wizards.
Celtics.
Yeah.
Celtics probably.
Celtics. The
Who
Cavs
else?
have
Who-
beat
if
the
not
the
Celtics, who
Cavs
else?
have beat the Celtics this season.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say that.
I
You
think
know what? I
Cavs-
gotta stay loyal.
Going Cavs.
I'm going Cavs.
I can see that happening, but at the same time, I could see them being like, we want to worry about regular season.
I mean, honestly, I think it's just because of the run that they're on now. If the in-season tournament was later, I'd probably pick the Celtics. But
Yeah.
because of the momentum that they've built in these 12 games,
yeah.
I've got to go with the Cavs.
I'm going to go with the Cavs solely because the Celtics always, even if they win the whole thing, they have one game where they completely fall apart.
Okay.
Always.
And that
That's
one
fair.
game is going to come in the season.
I will say this though, I'm gonna say the Celtics because coming off of a hot year last year, they're gonna go into this. They're gonna dominate. It's gonna be an early showing. People are gonna be like, Celtics are back," and then they plummet because
Yeah.
they
Okay.
look at this and they don't look at the regular season.
All right, real quick, final prediction. Who wins the whole thing?
The Mavs.
Interesting. I'm gonna go Knicks.
Shut up.
You're going to go Knicks, so I'm not going to go Knicks.
You
Oh,
were gonna go with the
who's-
Knicks?
Who's the
Oh,
real
well, yeah, but
fan
he
here?
took it. But
Who's the real
obviously
fan
I
here?
would want to, but
Who's the real
It's just-
fan?
I never said I was a
Me.
real fan.
I'm
I'll
going
look
to
at
go with it's
camera.
never.
Okay.
It's not going to be. I doubt it's going to be a team that's going to win the championship. I'm actually going to go with the Timberwolves.
That's not a
Interesting.
bad pick.
Yeah.
I think they're going to string a lot of things together like the Lakers did last season, and then
Okay.
towards the end of the season just fall apart.
Ah.
But that's
Is it time to shameless plug
all that
now?
it is.
Shameless
Yep.
plug.
Maybe we'll do like a little graphic of like our little predictions on
Maybe.
Instagram. Maybe. Who
Maybe
knows?
Maybe.
Maybe. So speaking of Instagram, we're still on Instagram Live.
Let's
we're about
go.
to probably turn that off pretty soon. But go follow us on Instagram, Dawgs_house. Follow us on TikTok at dogs.in.the.house.
Wow.
Follow us on YouTube, where I promise Jose will actually upload the YouTube videos
Yeah.
at Dogs in the
He
House
will. He will.
dash W1H. And yeah,
Jose,
that's basically all I have to plug today.
The folks at home want to watch the podcast.
Let's go.
All right.
What are you guys talking about?
Talking about you.
We were shameless plugging.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All
Love
right,
to
I was
see
looking
it.
at
We
a
peaked at 4
great-
viewers right now.
I was looking
Love
at a
that.
fantastic
Love
Let's
that.
Instagram
go.
live.
So yeah, we will be here Tuesday next week, same time, same place. Probably going to be talking a lot about the Kansas City and Bills game. Probably
Maybe my trip to Toronto.
and your trip to Toronto. And we'll probably do a lot more game coverage. We hope to have some more exciting stuff in the NFL to cover, as well as the NBA. Thank you all so much for listening today.
Alrighty.